everyone. I welcome you all to this academic guest lecture. We have with us today Mr. Kalpesh Kansara as our guest, who will enlighten us on the topic body language tips on effective presentation. Welcome, sir. Before we begin, I would like to present a formal introduction of Mr. Kansara. Mr. Kansara is an assistant professor of English at Udna Citizen Commerce College and SPB College of Business Administration, Surat, since June 2006. He is a net qualified teacher in English subject and his educational qualifications include BA, MA, B.Ed and MPhil from VNSU. At present, he is pursuing his PhD in modern business drama from VNSU, Surat. He has been teaching English literature, business communication, and communication skills for 14 years to students of commerce, management, computer application, and arts. He is a certified scope trainer and is good at translation, proofreading, and presentation skills. He has also been working with the All India Radio Surat FM as a casual announcer, where he carried out various tasks like script writing, recording, production, anchoring, and transmission. His hobbies include music, reading, watching movies, singing, anchoring, and traveling. He has served as a judge in various inter-college competitions like book review, elocution, and essay writing. So we are very delighted to have you with us today, and we are just very thrilled to listen to you. So now I will not waste much time, and I would request you to take over.
Thank you very much, madam. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you. Yes, so a very good morning to all of you, students. Uh, in third year BCom, in our syllabus, we have a topic presentation skills. I'm sure you all know about it. And today, I'll be speaking on that. I hope my screen is visible to all of you now. Is the screen visible, madam? Hello.
Yes, sir, the screen is visible now, but your voice is a little slow. The students are saying.
Okay, I'll speak a little bit louder. Yes, thank you very much once again. And now I'll begin my presentation. The topic is, as you all know, body language tips on effective presentation. To improve your presentation skills, to make your presentation effective, you need to keep in mind some points, especially your appearance and your body language. Besides all those theoretical aspects, like preparing your presentation without any error, uh, going or following the principle of 6 by 6, that is 6 words in a line, 6 lines on a slide, making your fonts visible, clear, and all other aspects, your volume and voice and all that. Besides all that, you need to focus on your body language. You need to take care of your body language. That is very much important. So this is how I'll be going on to the presentation. This is the outline. I'll start with the presentation facts. We all should know about the presentation. Uh, what is body language? That would be the next topic, and how it can be implemented or involved in a presentation. Next, I'll be discussing one by one the tips on effective presentation, focusing on body language, and then I'll summarize the signals that you need to keep in mind for an effective presentation. And then I'll also be touching on this point of non-violent presentation. That is how to make your presentation very, very effective, avoiding any kind of violence, verbal violence, or even violence which is seen by others. And then a reference list of references, and I'll also invite some questions and feedback from you at the end. So starting with the presentation facts, you all should know is facing this fear of public speaking. And Steve Jobs, even a person like Steve Jobs, had to rehearse a lot before he could give any presentation. And it is said that the shorter the presentation, the harder the preparation. If you want to speak for 1 hour, you'll need around 2 3 days to prepare for it. But if you want to speak for 30 minutes, you'll need a week to prepare for it. So the shorter the presentation, the harder the preparation. You need to prepare for your presentations. A good presentation is audience oriented and comprehensible. You always need to focus on the audience, and then people remember of what they hear and see maximum. So if they don't see and simultaneously if they don't hear, then they tend to listen a little bit less. And a single error can destroy your whole presentation. If you are or if you commit a mistake in your presentation, even a small mistake, a spelling mistake can destroy your whole presentation. Appearance and speech matter a lot when you present publicly. So you have to be very, very careful about your appearance and speech. Yes, so you have to be very, very careful about your appearance and speech when you are speaking in public. So, talking about the last line here, good body language is inevitable for an effective presentation. So, with that outline, with those things, facts about presentation, I would like to move further. That nonverbal communication, if you talk about nonverbal communication, your nonverbal communication is 55%, spoken word is 7%, and tone of voice is 38% of your communication. So you have to be very, very careful about your body language, that is your nonverbal communication in presentation, because body language dominates in face to face communication. Now, what is body language? It's a form of nonverbal communication which consists of body posture, gestures, facial expressions, and eye movements. Humans send and interpret such signals almost entirely subconsciously. And it is said that words express all ideas, sounds present all feelings, colors speak all languages, pictures convey all emotions, and body language communicates all information. Which means that even without speaking a word, you can communicate a lot. Now, these are some tips of the body language presentation. So, I would like to clarify on that. The first one, as you see, is to introduce yourself before any presentation. Now, when you introduce yourself, you have to be very, very joyful, and you need to introduce with a smile. Never forget to introduce yourself with without a smile. Be confident and audible. So, when you speak your name, my name is Professor Kansara, there should be a smile on your face, and this will connect directly to your audience. So, that should be taken care of. The next thing is this: to boost your confidence during your presentation, you need to open your arms and keep your back straight. So while talking, while presenting, if you open your arms and if you keep your back straight, you'll be able to present with more confidence. And this position will make you breathe better and you'll feel more relaxed. So whenever you're making a presentation, this should be a position. Your arms should be open. That will boost up your confidence. The next thing is to make your audience comfortable, what you should do. The tip is to be compassionate and friendly. Be friendly. Also remain cheerful because most of us uh, ought to be the same when we expect others to be smiling. Right? When someone smiles, we tend to get more friendly with that person. So a smile always attracts people, and that's why to make your audience comfortable, uh, be compassionate and friendly. Don't shout at them. They remain cheerful. Further, to engage people or audience, what kind of body language you should use. So gesture your arms and hands in a natural way. Don't try to imitate or copy somebody, and always be natural, be yourself. Don't try to imitate and look your audience in the eye because people tend naturally to pay attention and like people to look them in the eye. So eye contact is very very important as far as an effective presentation is concerned. Further, to demonstrate authority, what you should do, that you are the speaker and people are there to listen to you. That authoritative attitude should be there. Before that, you need to be calm. Use small and stiff gestures. You can use your hand and fingers to demonstrate your authority, the index finger, obviously, or the thumb. These are the gestures which express your authority. And this way, people will feel, people will have trust in you, and you will be viewed as a very confident person. Further, the next tip is to bring movement to your speech. What you should do. You'll have space around you when you are on the stage or on the platform or uh, behind the podium. You still have some space around you. So you can use that physical space that you have, and you can walk the space and present different points at different places. You can move two steps forward, you can go back, you can point at the screen, you can even move into the audience. And this way, a movement that includes space will accompany your speech, and that will give more force to what you are telling. So use the physical space, but at the same time, you need to be very, very careful about the microphone. If you're using a microphone that is fixed, then you will not be able to use the space simultaneously while you're speaking. So when you move around and the microphone is fixed, you should not speak anything. You should just point out things or use your body language to explain things. And if you have a collar mic with you, then it is okay to move around and you'll be easily heard by everybody. Everyone will be able to listen and understand. So when you make movements, make sure you are heard by everyone. And if you are making movements, uh, you should express through body language if the mic is not near you. The next thing is to keep your audience's attention. What you can do. So every time you may change your gestures, your facial expressions, your hand movements, right, your posture. When you keep changing these things, you'll be able to attract the audience's attention, and that's how you can eliminate distracting mannerisms also. Now, what is mannerism? Mannerism is a repetition of a particular body gesture, or even in speech, you may have mannerisms. For example, many people have this habit of speaking a phrase or a word often during their conversation. For example, uh, am I right? Something like that. Am I right is a phrase which, if often used, it can turn into a mannerism. The same thing applies to your body language. For example, if you are moving your hand up and down constantly, continuously, repetitively, then it becomes your mannerism. So avoid such mannerisms in your presentation. Make sure that you are not made fun of due to your mannerisms. So a variety of gestures, right? Variety is the spice of life, as the proverb says. So you need to vary your gestures, you need to change your gestures and use different gestures throughout your presentation so that the audience's attention is towards you. And this is how you can avoid or eliminate distracting mannerisms because gestures are very important to emphasize your communication. Further, to draw attention to a certain element of presentation, what you can do, point directly at it. So even while looking at the audience, you can have a pointer with you which you can show on the screen, and that's how you can draw the attention of the audience to a certain element of presentation. Or you can use your finger, index finger especially, to point out and look at it on the screen. So if you want the audience to concentrate on some word or some phrase or some point or sentence, you also should look at that, and you can point that with a pointer or a finger or a scale or something like that. So this will help your audience to follow your eyes and finger, resulting in desired focus. So you can also avoid distractions in this way. If the audience is looking elsewhere, you can catch their attention in this manner. Further, to encourage audience participation, what you should do: walk around and toward people. If you have some space to walk, you should certainly take a walk and use open gestures to encourage audience participation. Don't close your fists or put your hands in your pockets if you want to encourage audience participation. So going near to them a step or two will certainly encourage them to participate. You can even ask questions. You can ask rhetorical questions also. You can ask those questions which are already known to all of you, all the audience. So we tend to participate more when we have proximity to a speaker. So physical proximity also encourages the audience to participation, and mental proximity also tends to encourage the audience to participate. And to make a hard question seem easier, see, all these relate to your body language. Besides your script, besides what you are going to speak, right? Take a natural pause and repeat that question to make a hard question seem easier. And answer while looking the questioner in the eye. So most of the times you'll have a huge crowd before you, but still, if you want to make a hard question seem easier, you can look into the eye of the questioner, the person who has asked the question, and this will give you time to think and answer with confidence and ease. So a pause, a natural pause, that will allow you to uh, breathe in and think over the question or the possible answer. And you may also ask the questioner to repeat the question. So a few seconds will give you time enough to find out the right answer, appropriate answer. Further, to make your audience buy your story, what you should do: be natural, spontaneous, and conversational, and let your body mirror your feelings. So, as I said earlier, do not try to copy or imitate anyone. Be yourself, be natural, be spontaneous, and practice a lot. The more you will rehearse, the better you'll be able to communicate and uh, pass on the information to the audience. Let your body mirror your feelings. So, what you are speaking should be in harmony with your body language. This will create an air of positivity and trust among the audience. So these were some tips which you need to consider when you are presenting yourself. Some signals which are summarized here: become aware of your mannerisms and nervous habits. So if you have any mannerism, as I said, some repetitive behavior in body language or in speech, you should try to avoid that through rehearsals. Avoid your nervousness. Become aware of the way you speak and gesture. For that, you can also record your presentations, your sample presentations, or your rehearsals, and find out where you are making mistake, where your gesture goes wrong, or where your speech and the slide is a mismatch. So find that out and you can practice on that. Rehearsal is a must. Become aware of how you communicate. Become aware of your eye contact, of your posture and your gestures. So all that can be done through video recordings, which is now very, very easy for all of us. So you can build self-confidence through preparation. Now, I'll share a small video which summarizes what I have told so far. Well, why share this? Yes, I'll be sharing this now. Just a minute. So here's the video summary of what I told so far.
About it. Before someone even opens their mouth, we already start assuming what they're like just from the way they carry themselves. That's why in this
Is it visible? Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's visible.
Uh, this is the summary of what I have said so far.
saying that 70% of all communication is portrayed through body language. Think about it. Before someone even opens their mouth, we already start assuming what they're like just from the way they carry themselves. That's why in this video, you're gonna learn exactly how to portray confident, attractive, and respectable body language. We're gonna cover everything from your feet to the expressions on your face, and we're gonna make sure you have a full understanding of why certain types of body language are good and why certain types are bad. So starting with the feet, you want to make sure that your feet are shoulder length apart with your toes pointing outward. Why? Well, the rule of thumb when it comes to body language is that closing off your body is associated with nervousness and fear. Hypothetically, if someone was about to hit you, your instinct would be to close off your body to cover your organs and genitals. Open body language, on the other hand, is associated with feeling relaxed, calm, and confident. So having your feet apart, toes pointing outwards is open, while having them together, pointing inwards, is closed. Moving on to your hands. Do not keep your hands in your pocket. Do not cross them. Do not have one hand holding the arm of the other hand. And if you're at a party, do not hold a drink covering your chest. All of these are forms of keep your hands sides, relaxed, even if you have a drink. If you're speaking with someone, you can use your hands to emphasize certain points. If you were to ask me to adjust one part of the body that would have the biggest influence on how people perceive you, it would have to be the chest. This is actually the area that people have problems with the most. A lot of us have what are called rounded shoulders. Our shoulders arc forward past the neck, largely due to our culture, which is increasingly dependent on computer usage. The ideal way to hold your chest is to have your chest outwards and your shoulders back, like in this image here. For those of you who have a posture problem due to years of computer usage, there are a lot of exercises out there that will help straighten your back and fix your shoulders. Moving on to the head, you should stand straight with your head in line with the rest of your body. Your head should be facing forward. You don't want to tilt it down as it seems too submissive, and you don't want to tilt it up too much as it seems too arrogant. The face is a large part of how people perceive you during interactions. There are two things that you'll want to focus on. The first is eye contact. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you're not making enough eye contact, especially if you're a male. Strong eye contact is a huge indicator for confidence. I'm sure you've met people who seem totally normal, but just could not maintain eye contact. This makes the interaction feel very uncomfortable, and they come off as very, very unconfident. The magic ratio you want to maintain is 80-20. You want to spend 80% of the time during the conversation making eye contact and 20% of the time letting your eyes wander. This way you seem very confident, very interested in what the other person is saying, but at the same time, you don't come off as creepy. The second thing you want to focus on is your smile. Do not have one of those giant teeth showing smiles plastered on your face 24/7 because, well, it actually seems nervous. These smiles seem forced and fake. Instead, it's best to have a subtle grin, like you're having a good day. This projects an aura of happiness, but seems genuine and not forced. Now, don't get me wrong, it's perfectly okay to smile with your teeth, but save it for those special occasions. Now that we've covered what good body language looks like, let's talk about how you should move your body. The rule of thumb when it comes to movement is slow, slow, slow. The slower you move, the more confident you seem. A lot of us are prone to fast, fidgety movements. You know, we like to touch our face or play with our hands, and this just screams, I'm nervous. It makes you look like you're on the edge all of the time. The reason we want to stray away from nervous behavior so much is that emotions get transferred. If you're nervous, the people you're interacting with will feel uncomfortable as well. They feel as if something is wrong, and this hinders your overall likability. Well, how slow should we move? Honestly, you could move pretty slow without it looking weird. Just don't move too slow like you're in the Matrix. The last concept we're going to talk about is space. This relates a lot to the open and closed body language concept that we spoke about earlier. The more space you take up, the more comfortable and confident you seem. When you're at a desk, spread your belongings. Don't be afraid to have some space between your phone and your notebook. But don't be that guy who takes up 3 seats with his book bag and jacket. When you're sitting, don't be afraid to sit with your legs apart. Drape your arms on the chair next to you if it's empty. Do not be afraid to open up your body. And that's it. If you want to be perceived as more confident, look more attractive, and gain more respect, you just have to keep in mind these concepts. Stay away from closed body language, move slower, take up more space, and increase the amount of eye contact you make. By making these changes, I can 100% guarantee you'll see an improvement in your social interactions, whether it be on dates, during meetings, at parties, or even just hanging out with your friends.
Yes, friends, so that was a summary of what I just discussed, how to use your body language effectively when you are making a presentation. I will now continue with my presentation. Yes, so understanding your signals, that was what I last discussed. And I will continue my presentation with these words. That even when you present, even when you make a presentation, you need to be non-violent, which means that you should be very, very careful about your speech. not just your words, but your speech also. So, uh, become aware of your mannerisms and make sure that you are speaking in the correct manner, avoiding all kind of negative gestures or postures. Above all, you need to be non-violent.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Sir, presentation is not visible, I think. I don't know. To me, it is not visible. Others,
So I'll read again.
can you share it again?
Yes, sure, sure. So I was talking about non-violent communication. So I hope now it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So I was talking about non-violent presentation. As I told you, besides everything that you keep in mind and you make a presentation while delivering your presentation, you need to be non-violent, not just in speech but even in your body language. So do not be violent in your communication. Do not impose your ideas and views. Try to share ideas. Try to pass on information. Do not impose. Do not think that whatever you are delivering is always right. Avoid negative gestures, postures, or any other signals. Respect everyone and appreciate others. Avoid monotony and repetition. Remain empathetic and reachable. Involve simplicity and naturalness in your speech and action. Involve your heart and soul in your presentation. So, in other words, simplify to beautify your presentation. The more simple and straightforward you are, the more effective your presentation will be. So, avoid all kind of complications, whether in your speech, in your action, or in your script, or whatever you are delivering. It should not be complicated. It should be made easy, keeping in mind the level of the audience. So even the language that you use should be made understood to all the audience. Now, these are some references for uh, good presentations to make or to create good presentations. Slideshare.net obviously is very popular. Soappresentations.com. You also have hundreds of videos on the YouTube. PowerShow.com, Author Stream, Wikipedia, Google, Total Communicator, and EnglishClub.com. These are the sources where you can gather much information and you'll be able to create good presentations on your own. You can also borrow templates, that is formats of slides from these places. You can design them in your own way, and you can also include animations and a lot more things. But make sure that the presentation and the content of the presentation becomes important, and not all these features that you are adding to it, because after all, a presentation is your helper. It is a helping aid. It is your friend, and it is not your master. So the audience should be able to listen to you. The audience should be able to get the message that you are trying to deliver, not focus on the medium or in the manner in which you are delivering the message. So with that, I would like to now invite some questions from your side, if any. And we have any questions from the audience or the students regarding the effective use of body language in presentations?
Yes, students, the topic is open for discussion. If you have any queries or doubts, you can ask sir or discuss just now here.
Yes, any questions from the audience? Uh, I would add something to what I just said about non-violent communication. So, friends, if I talk about non-violent communication, we need to become the change we want to see in the world. Uh, this famous quote is by uh, Mahatma Gandhi. And if you think that people in front of you are delivering a presentation should be effective, then you yourself should become more effective. That's what I think. Yes, any questions if you have?
Sir, we have a question from Jenny. She is asking if we have stage fear,
Yes.
then what do we have to do to become confident? This is a question raised by Jenny.
Uh, Jenny, thank you very much for the question. Uh, the first thing to get rid of your stage fear is practice. The more you rehearse, rehearsal is a must. It is one of the basic principles of any effective presentation that you need to rehearse a lot. And if you have stage fear, you will not get rid of that stage fear unless you go on the stage practically and deliver a speech or a presentation. Because by reading books on how to get rid of stage fear, you will not be able to get rid of your stage fear. You will have to at least visit a place or a hall or a stage and practically be there, right? So it is just as good as learning how to swim or learning how to ride a bicycle or a bike. So you don't have books, right? You don't have books on how to learn swimming or how to ride a bicycle. You just have to do it. You just have to practice it. And it is very much possible and it is very much natural that you may fall twice or thrice or five times. But then, only then, you'll be able to learn how to swim or how to ride a bicycle. Swimming cannot be learned by reading books. You have to dive into a pool, into water, and move your hands and legs, and only then you'll be able to learn how to swim. So, delivering a presentation or making a presentation on a stage is as good as swimming or cycling. So, you have to practically do that. At least rehearse, at least practice. You can do that in front of the mirror, that is one thing. You can record yourself, or you can have your family members or friends sitting before you and you can practice your presentation. So, that is the best way to get rid of your stage fear. Unless you go there, you won't be able to get rid of that. And then there are other techniques like breathing deeply when you go on the stage. Obviously, when you are going there on the for the first time, you may feel very much excited or very much nervous at the same time. So at that time, you have to deep breathe, like very sensible, and then you will be able to get rid of that fear. And focus on your preparation. Focus on what you have already prepared, you have written, and your hours of practice. So that will boost up your confidence and obviously your body language, which we just discussed. Keep palms open, हथेलियों को खुला रखें. That will also boost your confidence, and always wear a cheerful smile. Yes. I hope I have answered the question. So any other questions? There was
Yes, sir. In fact, quite a convincible answer you have given to Jenny's question, I'm sure. Uh, yes, she is writing. Thank you, sir. If anybody else has some queries or questions to ask,
Still we have another question. I'd like to expand the non-violent communication because
yes, sir.
that is very important when you are communicating. Uh, because when you communicate, you have to consider your words and your body language both, and that should be in tune, in harmony. So when you talk about nonviolent communication, it includes a nonviolent speech and a nonviolent body language at the same time. So if I talk about the speech part, it is said that शब्द से खुशी, शब्द से गम, शब्द से पीड़ा, शब्द ही मरहम. Meaning words have great power, and if you are able to use your words, your diction, your language appropriately, then there is no chance of any miscommunication or misinterpretation. So be very, very particular, specific about the words you are using in your presentation. Make sure they are not ambiguous. Make sure that they mean what you want to say. And obviously, you should learn how to listen also. Only then you'll be able to be a good communicator, because good listening leads to good speaking. So try to listen as much as possible to good speakers of the language, those who use the language correctly and effectively as well. Also concentrate on the body language of those people. You may watch hundreds of YouTube videos where you can see uh, great speeches delivered by great people, whether it be film stars or politicians or sportsmen or any other such popular people. Yes. Do we have any other question? Yes, there is some one who has asked. Yes, I'm reading the question. If we nervous during the presentation, then what to do at that time? Yes. First, I'll focus on how to avoid nervousness before you are going to present. That already I have discussed, but something that practice as much as possible, and then to avoid your nervousness, you can have a bottle of water with you, and this breathing techniques. They are the best thing to avoid your nervousness during presentation. In during my presentation also, I focused on one thing. When you are facing a complicated question, for example, and you become nervous, so at that time you can ask the questioner to repeat the question. That will give you some time to pause and think over the question, and also get rid of your nervousness by breathing deeply. So deep breathing and taking a sip of water at that time can get rid of your nervousness. Also, you may recall whatever you have prepared, and uh, your knowledge, your expertise, your reading, all that you can recall at the time of nervousness, and you can give positive uh, orders to your mind that yes, I have prepared well, and I'll be able to deliver a successful presentation. So that positive frame of mind will always lead you to get rid of your nervousness. So even during the presentation, constantly feed your mind with positive thoughts that today I'll be successful in my presentation. I'll effectively deliver this presentation because I have prepared a lot, and that hard work will obviously pay. I hope I have answered to your question, Ms. Yasmin Khan.
Yes, sir. Very much. Uh, uh, to the level of satisfaction of students, I think yes, Yasmin is also writing. Uh, you have very nicely guided regarding gaining confidence during the presentation and what we can do to avoid stage fear. One thing, sir, very nicely elaborated regarding listening, right? How we have to cultivate the skill of listening also, which is very, very important. Yes, sir.
Yes, I would further elaborate on this nonviolent communication. This is the triangle of violence that you are watching on the screen right now. Right? This is how violence in speech or in action, direct violence is visible only around 25%, and the remaining 75%, which is invisible, cultural or structural violence, that leads to problems. So you have to be very careful about your speech and action when you are dealing with people, and it's always easy to get influenced by things which appear, but things are not always what they seem. Because as you see in this picture, the deer isn't crossing the road, but the road is crossing the forest. Right? So, uh, whenever you are facing any tough situation, uh, just focus on your goal, because nonviolent communication always helps in such situations. And if we treat human beings the way they are, they become worse than they really are. If we treat people the way they would like to be, we help them to become what they are capable of. So always uh, thinking little or less about others does not help. Think always better for others, and that will make them better, in fact. So a lot of problems in the world would disappear if we talk to each other instead of about each other. That's also one principle of communication. So when we find faults with others, we also need to find faults within ourselves, and that would certainly help us in making ourselves good presenters. So observe without judging, and always listen. Because when we listen for their feelings and needs, we no longer see people as monsters. So active listening or attentive listening is very much helpful in such situations. And these are some quotes of good communication, that there's no such thing as a conflict-free environment. So always we need to be prepared for such environments. And people don't always need advice. Sometimes all they really need is a hand to hold, an ear to listen, and a heart to understand them. So speak in such a way that others love to listen to you, and listen in such a way that others love to speak to you. Yes. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, I think yes, sir, you have pretty much covered everything, starting from body language to non-violent communication, non-violent use. And I think, it was a wonderful presentation, sir. And I I'm really sure that all the students have gained important inputs about using the body language. So I think I will offer the vote of thanks now. So with great joy, I extend my sincere gratitude to you. And indeed, your talk was very, very informative. Yes, even the students are writing. It was a very informative session, sir. And you have provided much food for thought for all of us here today. Thank you, sir, once again. You spared your valuable time for us and devoted this entire session to us. Thank you, sir, so much. So I think with this expression of gratitude, I will end this session here. Yes, even the students are writing the positive reviews, sir. They are very much happy with your explanation. Um, Kajal Pandey is writing, your explanation is very excellent. So thank you once again, sir. And even the students have been wonderful. Uh, they have also interacted in the session. I thank all the participants who have participated in this session, and also the technical team who has helped to carry out this session. With this expression of gratitude, I think we should end this session here. I'll end the session now. Thank you all.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Yes, girls, I will end the meeting over here. Students, we'll end the session over here. And it was wonderful session. Goodbye, girls. Goodbye, everyone.